session is at Circuit de Barcelona in Barcelona, Spain. The wind speed is 32 km/h from the north. Mini Echo is P2. Safety car entering the pits is 31st. Joel Rascon is first. Race start. Tisanoski is P2. With 3 out 25 in Renault is third. Tisanoski in Repsol is second. AlphaTauri AT03 is P4. Tisanoski is P2. Probo 96 is 5th. Tisanoski in Bank Sahabel is P2. Probo 96 in Eurocar is P5. Tisanoski is second. Probo 96 is P5, 0.2 behind AlphaTauri. Tisanoski in Renault is second, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 in Repsol is P5, 0.4 behind AlphaTauri. Tisanoski is second, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 is P5, 0.4 behind AlphaTauri. Tisanoski in La Caixa is second, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 in Bank Sabadell is P5 driving a Ferrari, 0.4 behind AlphaTauri. Tisanoski is second, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 is P5, 0.4 behind AlphaTauri. Tisanoski in Elf is second driving a Mercedes-Benz, 0.3 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 is fifth, 0.4 behind AlphaTauri. Tisanoski in C is second, 0.4 ahead of with 3 out 25. With 3 out 25 is third, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski is second, 0.4 ahead of with 3 out 25. With 3 out 25 in La Caixa is third driving a Ferrari, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski in Eurocar is P2. With 3 out 25 in New Holland is third, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski is P2, 0.3 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 in Renault is P3, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski in Repsol is P2, 0.3 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 is P3, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski in Kamsa is second driving a Mercedes-Benz, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 is fifth, 0.4 behind Oil Dryno. Tisanoski in Bank Sabadell is P2, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 in Eurocar is P5, 0.5 behind Oil Dryno. Tisanoski is P2, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 in Elf is P3, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski is P2, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 on lap 5 is P3, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski is second, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 is P3, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski in La Caixa is second. Best lap is a 1:25.857, 0.397 off the fastest lap. With 3 out 25 in Eurocar is third. Probo 96 in New Holland is P5. Tisanoski is second, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 in Renault is third, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski in Repsol is second, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 in C is P5, 0.4 behind Oil Dryno. Tisanoski in Kamsa is P2, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Probo 96 is fifth, 0.3 behind Oil Dryno. Tisanoski is P2. With 3 out 25 in Eurocar is third, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski is second driving a Mercedes-Benz, 0.4 ahead of Whip 3 out 25. With 3 out 25 in Elf is P3, 0.4 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski is second, 0.4 ahead of Whip 3 out 25. With 3 out 25 in C is P3, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Nigade is P6, 0.4 behind Oil Dryno. Tisanoski is second, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 is P3, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. MiG 8 is P6, 0.4 behind Oil Dryer. With 3 out 25 is third, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski is P2, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 in Renault is third driving a Ferrari, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski in Repsol is P2, 0.5 ahead of with 3 out 25. With 3 out 25 is third, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Mervis is 8th, 0.4 behind Niatexen. Tisanoski in La Pixa is second, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 on lap 8 is P3, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Tisanoski in New Holland is second driving a Mercedes-Benz, 0.5 ahead of with 3 out 25. Mervis on lap 8 is 8th, 0.5 behind Niatexen. Tisanoski in Renault on lap 9 is P2, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. Mervis in Renault is P8, 0.4 behind Niatexen. Ice Cream Boy 92 in Renault is 12, 0.5 behind Floydie 1977. Mervis is 8th, 0.4 behind Niatexem. Bobardo is 14th, 0.5 behind Mini Echo. Tisanoski in Bank Sabadell is second. Best lap is a 1:24.312. With 3 out 25 in Eurocar is third, 0.5 behind Tisanoski. Mervis is P8, 0.5 behind Niatexen. Tisanoski in Elf on lap 10 is second, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. With 3 out 25 in Renault is third. Best lap is a 1:24.164, 0.001 off the fastest lap. Mervis is P8, 0.4 behind Niatexen. With 3 out 25 is P3, 0.4 behind Tisanoski. Mervis is 8th, 0.4 behind Niatexem. Bartemusgorden is P16, 0.4 behind Hopperspaster. Mervis is 8th. Best lap is a 1:24.700, 0.537 off the fastest lap. Joshi's Caribbean in Bank Sabadell is P10, 0.5 behind Wasi. Mervis on lap 10 is 8th, 0.5 behind Niatexem. Hopperspaster is 15th, 0.5 ahead of Bartemusgorden. Mervis in Renault is 8th, 0.4 behind Niatexem. Haas faster in Renault is 15th driving a McLaren, 0.4 ahead of Bartemus Gordon. Mervis is P8, 0.4 behind Miatexo. Haas faster is 15th, 0.4 ahead of Bartemus Gordon. Tisanoski is P2, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Nick 8 in Eurocar is P6, 0.5 behind Oil Dryer. Tisanoski is second, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Nick 8 is P6, 0.4 behind Oil Dryer. Tisanoski in Repsol is second. Best lap is a 1:23.676. Nick 8 in Repsol is P6. Best lap is a 1:24.412. 0.736 off the fastest lap. Mervis in C is 8, 0.4 behind Miatexo. Nick 8 is P6, 0.4 behind Oil Drino. Tisanoski in Bank Sabadell is P2, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Nick 8 in Bank Sabadell on lap 12 is P6, 0.4 behind Oil Drino. Mervis in Eurocar on lap 12 is P8, 0.5 behind Miatexo. Tisanoski in Elf is second, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Nick 8 in Elf is 6th, 0.3 behind Oil Drino. Tisanoski is P2, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Nick 8 in C is 6th driving an AlphaTauri, 0.4 behind Oil Drino. Mervis is 8th, 0.5 behind Miatexo. Tisanoski in La Caixa is second, 0.5 behind Joel Rascon. Nick 8 is P6, 0.3 behind Oil Drino. Miatexo in Eurocar is 7th, 0.4 ahead of Mervis. With 3 out 25 entering the pits is 3rd. Nick 8 in New Holland is 6th, 0.3 behind Oil Drino. Mervis entering the pits is 8th. Kingshu 22 in La Caixa is P22, 0.6 behind Skolbus Rust. Joshi's Caribbean entering the pits is P10. Floydie 1977 entering the pits is 11th. Ice Cream Boy 92 entering the pits is P12. Oil Drino is 1st. Dikogamer is 27, 0.4 ahead of Antilagers. Eminson entering the pits is 19th. Radovic entering the pits is P21. Boba 1701 is 19th. Kingshu 22 entering the pits is 21st. Nig 8 exiting pits. Miatexo exiting pits. RC Sky 79 is P21. Skolbus Rust in Renault is P2, 3.8 ahead of Nig 8. Skolbus Rust was 3.4 faster last lap. Kingshu 22 exiting pits. Haas faster exiting pits. Eminson exiting pits. Dudes Mokablunt entering the pits is P30. Joel Rascon exiting pits. Blunt is P30. Wasib exiting pits. Floydy 1977 exiting pits. Merbus exiting pits. Antilagers is P25. Antilagers exiting pits. Iminson in Repsol is 11, 0.4 behind Copos faster. Ice Cream Boy 92 exiting pits. Bobardo exiting pits. Rydovich exiting pits. Joshi's Caribbean exiting pits. Tisanoski exiting pits. Bartimus Gordon exiting pits. Mini Echo exiting pits. Sputnik NZ is P5. Probo 96 exiting pits. RC Sky 79 exiting pits. Blunt exiting pits. Phobos 1701 exiting pits. Iminson is 11. Oil Dryno exiting pits. Neotexum is P5, 0.1 ahead of Sputnik NZ. Sputnik NZ was 1.2 faster last lap. Neotexum passed Rafisbajan for P2. Iminson in Eurocar is 11, 0.5 behind Copos faster. Ayala Rafael entering the pits is 7th. Rafisbajan exiting pits. Skolbus Rusk exiting pits. Sputnik NZ exiting pits. Iminson is now 8th. Robitokaji entering the pits is 14th. Ice Cream Boy 92 is P19. Pingshu 22 is 5th, 0.3 ahead of Copos faster. Ayala Rafael exiting pits. Copos faster is 6th. Best lap is a 124.813, 1.141 off the fastest lap. Dikogumer exiting pits. Robitokaji exiting pits. Wolf of Ito exiting pits. Pingshu 22 on lap 15 is P5, 0.3 behind Skolbus Rusk. Copos faster is 6th, 0.4 ahead of Iminson. Iminson was 15.9 faster last lap. Pingshu 22 is 5th driving a McLaren, 0.3 behind Skolbus Rusk. Skolbus Rusk was 18.5 faster last lap. Copos faster in Bank Sabadell is P6, 0.4 ahead of Iminson. Pingshu 22 in Eurocar is 5th, 0.5 behind Skolbus Rusk. Joel Rascon in New Holland is P9, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Sputnik NZ was 65.2 faster last lap. Pingshu 22 in Elf is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rusk. Iminson in Renault is 7th, 0.5 behind Copos faster. Pingshu 22 in Repsol on lap 16 is P5, 0.3 behind Skolbus Rusk. Pingshu 22 was 23.4 faster last lap. Iminson is P7, 0.4 behind Copos faster. Pingshu 22 in Campsa is P5. Best lap is a 126.531, 2.859 off the fastest lap. Copos faster in La Pixa is P6. Pingshu 22 is 5th, 0.3 behind Skolbus Rusk. Joel Rascon in Eurocar is 9th, 0.3 ahead of Wausi. Wausi was 2.9 faster last lap. Pingshu 22 is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rusk. Wausi is 11th, 0.1 ahead of Merbus. Pingshu 22 is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rusk. Iminson on lap 17 is 7th, 0.4 behind Copos faster. King Shu 22 on lap 17 is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Papa's Faster is P6, 0.4 ahead of Amundsen. King Shu 22 in La Caixa is 5th, 0.5 ahead of Papa's Faster. Papa's Faster on lap 17 is P6, 0.4 behind King Shu 22. King Shu 22 in New Holland is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Joel Rascon in New Holland is P9 driving a Red Bull, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. King Shu 22 is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Joel Rascon in Renault is P9, 0.2 behind Sputnik NZ. Joel Rascon was 1.2 faster last lap. King Shu 22 in Seat is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Amundsen is P7, 0.4 behind Papa's Faster. King Shu 22 on lap 18 is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Papa's Faster in La Caixa is P6, 0.5 behind King Shu 22. King Shu 22 in Eurocar is 5th, 0.3 behind Skolbus Rust. Sputnik NZ in Eurocar is 9th, 0.4 ahead of Joel Rascon. King Shu 22 is P5 driving a McLaren, 0.5 behind Skolbus Rust. Joel Rascon is P10, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. King Shu 22 in Repsol is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Papa's Faster in Seat on lap 19 is 6th, 0.5 ahead of Amundsen. King Shu 22 is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Papa's Faster is P6, 0.4 behind King Shu 22. King Shu 22 in Bank Sabadell is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Papa's Faster in Eurocar is P6. King Shu 22 is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Papa's Faster on lap 20 is 6th, 0.5 behind King Shu 22. King Shu 22 in Renault on lap 20 is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Joel Rascon in Renault is P10. Best lap is a 1:23.672. King Shu 22 is P5, 0.3 behind Skolbus Rust. Papa's Faster in Campsa is 6th, 0.4 behind King Shu 22. King Shu 22 in La Caixa is 5th, 0.5 behind Skolbus Rust. Papa's Faster in Bank Sabadell is P6, 0.4 behind King Shu 22. Shu 22 in Eurocar is 5th, 0.5 behind Skolbus Rust. Joel Rascon in Eurocar is 10th, 0.5 ahead of Welsey. Floydie 1977 is P13, 0.5 behind Nervis. Nervis was 0.9 faster last lap. King Shu 22 is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Eminson is P7 driving a Williams, 0.5 behind Papas Faster. King Shu 22 is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Papas Faster in Kamsa is 6th, 0.4 behind King Shu 22. King Shu 22 in La Caixa is 5th, 0.5 ahead of Papas Faster. Papas Faster is 6th, 0.4 behind King Shu 22. King Shu 22 in New Holland is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. With 3 out 25 is 7th, 0.3 behind Papas Faster. King Shu 22 is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. With 3 out 25 is 7th, 0.3 behind Papas Faster. King Shu 22 in seat is 5th, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Papas Faster is 7th, 0.3 ahead of Eminson. Miatexum is P2, 0.5 behind Nick Gate. King Shu 22 is 6th, 0.2 behind with 3 out 25. King Shu 22 is now 5th. Papas Faster in Eurocar is 6th, 0.4 ahead of Eminson. With 3 out 25 entering the pits is 13th. Eminson in New Holland is P7. Papas Faster is 6th, 0.4 behind King Shu 22. Joel Rascon is 9th, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Welsey Renault is 10th, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. King Shu 22 is P5, 0.4 behind Skolbus Rust. Joel Rascon on lap 23 is P9, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Welsey Kamsa is 10th, 0.4 ahead of Mervis. King Shu 22 in Bank Sabadell is 5th driving a McLaren, 0.3 behind Skolbus Rust. Papas Faster in Eurocar is 6th, 0.5 behind King Shu 22. King Shu 22 is P5, 0.5 behind Skolbus Rust. Antilagers entering the pits is P30. Papas Faster in Elf is P6 driving a McLaren, 0.5 behind King Shu 22. Miatexum is P2. Best lap is a 1:23.920. 0.248 off the fastest lap. King 22 is 5th. Best lap is a 1:26.200, 2.528 off the fastest lap. Neotexum in Eurocar on lap 24 is P2, 0.2 behind Negate. King 22 is P5, 0.4 ahead of Papas Faster. Papas Faster in La Pexa is 6th, 0.5 behind King 22. Neotexum in Renault is 2nd, 0.3 behind Negate. King 22 in New Holland is P5. Neotexum in Seat is 2nd, 0.4 behind Negate. King 22 in Renault is 5th, 0.5 behind Skolbus Rust. Neotexum is P2, 0.4 behind Negate. Negate in Bank Sabadell on lap 25 is 2nd, 0.3 behind Neotexum. King 22 is P5, 0.4 ahead of Papas Faster. Antilagers exiting pits. Negate on lap 25 is 2nd, 0.5 behind Neotexum. King 22 in Bank Sabadell is P5, 0.4 ahead of Papas Faster. Negate in Renault is P2, 0.2 behind Neotexum. King 22 is 5th, 0.5 behind Skolbus Rust. Negate is P2, 0.4 behind Neotexum. King 22 in Renault is P5, 0.5 ahead of Papas Faster. Negate in La Pexa is P2, 0.5 behind Neotexum. King 22 on lap 26 is P5, 0.5 behind Skolbus Rust. Papas Faster is 6th, 0.4 ahead of Amundsen. Neotexum entering the pits is P1. King 22 in La Pexa is 5th, 0.5 ahead of Papas Faster. Papas Faster in Eurocar is 6th, 0.4 behind King 22. Amundsen in New Holland is P7 driving a Williams, 0.5 behind Papas Faster. Neotexum exiting pits. Negate exiting pits. Walsieb in Eurocar is P9, 0.5 ahead of Joel Rascon. Walsieb entering the pits is 10th. Mervis entering the pits is 13th. Floydie 1977 entering the pits is P14. Skolbus Rust is 4th. King 22 exiting pits. Papas Faster exiting pits. Amundsen exiting pits. Provo 96 in New Holland is 17th, 0.5 behind Rajdovich. Walsieb exiting pits. Joel Rascon exiting pits. Skolbus Rust is 4th, 0.2 behind Negate. Ice Cream Boy 92 exiting pits. Mervis exiting pits. Floydie 1977 exiting pits. Tisanowski is 7th, 0.4 behind Gobardo. Skolbus Rust in Bank Sabadell is 4th, 0.5 behind Negate. Rust was 6.3 faster last lap. Tisanowski in La Caixa is P7, 0.4 behind Bobardo. Rust is 4th, 0.2 behind Nick 8. Bartemus Gordon exiting pits. Rust passed Nick 8 for P3. RC Sky 79 exiting pits. Duds Mokablund exiting pits. Bobardo is 6th. Boba 1701 exiting pits. Bobardo entering the pits is 6th. Oil Dryano exiting pits. Tisanowski is 5th. Oil Dryano in Elf is P28, 3.5 behind Boba 1701. Ridovic is P11, 0.6 ahead of Wausi. Sputnik NZ exiting pits. Bobardo exiting pits. Tisanowski exiting pits. Antilagers is P30. Joshi's Caribbean entering the pits is P17. Mini Echo is P20. Duds Mokablund is 26th, 0.8 ahead of Boba 1701. Ridovic exiting pits. Rafis Bajan is 1st. Joshi's Caribbean exiting pits. Wausi is P9, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Mini Echo exiting pits. Joel Rascon is P11, 0.3 behind Bobardo. Rafis Bajan exiting pits. Probo 96 exiting pits. Wausi is 9th, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Rust exiting pits. Papos Faster on lap 29 is P6, 0.5 behind Kingshu 22. Wausi in New Holland is 9th, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Joel Rascon is 11th. Rafael entering the pits is 16th. Wausi Renault is 9th, 0.2 behind Sputnik NZ. Dekugamer entering the pits is 17th. Bobardo in Repsol is 10th, 0.3 ahead of Joel Rascon. Wausi is P9 driving a Red Bull, 0.4 ahead of Bobardo. Wausi was 21.2 faster last lap. Rafael exiting pits. Dekugamer exiting pits. Bobardo is P10. Robitokaji exiting pits. Wolf of Eco exiting pits. Wausi La Caixa is P9, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Papos Faster is P6, 0.5 behind Kingshu 22. Wausi Eurocar is 9th. Papos Faster in Renault is 6th, 0.4 behind Kingshu 22. Wausi is P10 battling Joel Rascon. Papos Faster is 6th, 0.3 behind Kingshu 22. Iminson in Kamsa is 7th. Best lap is a 125.621, 2.219 off the fastest lap. Papos Faster is 6th, 0.3 behind Kingshu 22. Iminson in Bank Sababel is 7th, 0.3 behind Papos Faster. Bobardo in La Caixa is P9, 0.4 ahead of Wausi. Wassib Bank Sabadell is P10, 0.3 behind Bobardo. Bobardo in Eurocar on lap 30 is 9th, 0.4 ahead of Wassib. Bobardo was 1.0 faster last lap. Wassib is 10th, 0.5 behind Bobardo. Bobardo in Alp is P9, 0.1 behind Sputnik NZ. Wassib in Renault is 10th driving a Red Bull, 0.3 behind Bobardo. Bobardo in Repsol is P9, 0.3 ahead of Wassib. Wassib is P10, 0.4 behind Bobardo. Bobardo in Kamsa is 9th, 0.2 behind Sputnik NZ. Bobardo was 1.7 faster last lap. Wassib in La Caixa is P10, 0.3 behind Bobardo. Bobardo in Bank Sabadell is 9th, 0.3 ahead of Wassib. Wassib in Eurocar is 10th, 0.5 ahead of Ice Cream Boy 92. Bobardo is 9th, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Wassib in Alf is P10, 0.4 behind Bobardo. Bobardo is 9th, 0.2 behind Sputnik NZ. Ice Cream Boy 92 is 10th, 0.1 ahead of Wassib. Bobardo is 9th, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Wassib in Kamsa on lap 32 is 10th, 0.4 behind Bobardo. Bobardo in La Caixa is P9 driving a Ferrari, 0.5 behind Sputnik NZ. Nig 8 is P2 driving a AlphaTauri, 0.4 behind Niatexam. Nig 8 was 4.1 faster last lap. Bobardo on lap 32 is 9th, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Nig 8 is 2nd, 0.3 behind Niatexam. Bobardo in Alp is P9, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Wassib is 10th, 0.2 behind Bobardo. Bobardo is 9th, 0.1 ahead of Wassib. Bobardo is now 9th. Sputnik NZ on lap 33 is 9th, 0.3 behind Wassib. Nig 8 in Renault is P2, 0.4 behind Niatexam. Nig 8 was 1.0 faster last lap. Papas Faster is 6th, 0.3 behind Kingshu 22. Nig 8 is 2nd. Papas Faster in Renault is 6th driving a McLaren, 0.3 behind Kingshu 22. Nig 8 in La Caixa is P2, 0.4 behind Niatexam. Bobardo in Elf is P10, 0.2 behind Sputnik NZ. Joel Rascon is 11, 0.2 ahead of Tisanoski. Nick 8 is P2. Pavlos Pastor in Bank Sabadell is P6, 0.4 behind King Chu 22. Nick Aiden Renault is P2, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Tisanoski in Lakatsa is 12, 0.1 ahead of Ice Cream Boy 92. Nick Gate is second, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Bobardo in New Holland is P10, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Nick Gate in Lakatsa on lap 35 is second, 0.5 behind Neotexum. Pavlos Pastor is P6, 0.5 behind King Chu 22. Nick Gate is second, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Bobardo in seat on lap 35 is 10, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Nick Gate in Elf is second, 0.3 behind Neotexum. Iminson in Eurocar is 7, 0.5 behind Pavlos Pastor. Nick Gate in C is second, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Iminson in Elf is P7, 0.5 behind Pavlos Pastor. Nick Gate is second driving a AlphaTauri, 0.3 behind Neotexum. Iminson is P7, 0.4 behind Pavlos Pastor. Iminson was 2.4 faster last lap. Nick Gate in Eurocar is P2, 0.3 behind Neotexum. Iminson is P7, 0.4 behind Pavlos Pastor. Nick Gate is second, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Iminson is seventh, 0.4 behind Pavlos Pastor. Nick Gate in Repsol is P2, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Sputnik NZ in Bank Sabadell is 10, 0.3 ahead of Bobardo. Nick Gate is P2, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Iminson in Repsol is P7, 0.4 behind Pavlos Pastor. Nick Gate in Bank Sabadell is P2 driving a AlphaTauri, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Pavlos Pastor is 6th, 0.4 ahead of Iminson. Nick Gate is second driving a AlphaTauri, 0.4 behind Neotexum. Iminson in Lakatsa is P7, 0.4 behind Pavlos Pastor. Nick Gaiden Renault is second, 0.3 behind Nietexum. Papas Faster in New Holland is P7. Nick Gate is second, 0.4 behind Nietexum. Floydy 1977 in Eurocar is P13, 0.4 behind Bobardo. Joel Rascon is P11, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Nick Gate is second, 0.4 behind Nietexum. Joel Rascon is P11, 0.2 behind Sputnik NZ. Bobardo is 12th driving a Ferrari, 0.3 behind Joel Rascon. Antolagas exiting pits. Edmondson in Bank Sabadell is P6, 0.4 behind King 22. King 22 was 0.7 faster last lap. Nick Gate is P2, 0.4 behind Nietexum. Papas Faster in New Holland is 7th, 0.5 behind Edmondson. Nick Gate is P2, 0.4 behind Nietexum. Joel Rascon in New Holland is 11th, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Edmondson in Repsol is P6, 0.5 behind King 22. Nick Gate in Eurocar is second, 0.5 behind Nietexum. Papas Faster is 7th, 0.4 behind Edmondson. Nick Gate entering the pits is second. Joel Rascon in C is P11. Bobardo is 12th. Best lap is a 1:24.668. 1.617 off the fastest lap. Nietexum exiting pits. Nick Gate exiting pits. Floydy 1977 is 13th, 0.1 behind Bobardo. Edmondson entering the pits is 6th. Ice Cream Boy 92 in Bank Sabadell is P14, 0.2 behind Floydy 1977. Bobardo in Eurocar is 13th, 0.3 ahead of Ice Cream Boy 92. Floydy 1977 entering the pits is 13th. King 22 exiting pits. Edmondson exiting pits. Bobardo is now P10. Joshi's Caribbean is 17th. Papas Faster exiting pits. Wasib exiting pits. Bobardo in Renault on lap 40 is 8th, 0.3 behind King 22. Joel Rascon exiting pits. King 22 in Repsol is 8th battling Bobardo. Ice Cream Boy 92 exiting pits. Mervis exiting pits. Floydy 1977 exiting pits. Rydovich in Renault is 13th, 0.3 behind Joel Rascon. Joshi's Caribbean in Repsol is P14 driving a Ferrari, 0.3 behind Rydovich. Bartimas Gordon exiting pits. Rydovich in C is 13th, 0.4 ahead of Joshi's Caribbean. Phobos 1701 entering the pits is 27th. Joshi's Caribbean is P14, 0.4 behind Rydovich. Rydovich is 13th, 0.3 behind Joel Rascon. Sputnik NZ entering the pits is P7. Dudes Mokablunt entering the pits is 28. RC Sky 79 exiting pits. Tisanoski exiting pits. Tisanoski is 8th. Joshi's Caribbean is P14, 0.4 behind Rydovich. Sputnik NZ exiting pits. Dudes Mokablunt exiting pits. Mini Echo is P20, 0.1 behind AlphaTauri. Boba 1701 exiting pits. Oil Dryano exiting pits. Iminson in seat is 7, 0.5 behind Kingshu 22. Kingshu 22 was 1.6 faster last lap. Joel Rascon in Repsol is P12, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Rydovich exiting pits. Joshi's Caribbean exiting pits. Iminson is 7, 0.5 behind Kingshu 22. Joel Rascon is P12, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Iminson in Eurocar is P7, 0.4 behind Kingshu 22. Joel Rascon in Bank Sabadell on lap 41 is 12, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Dikugamer is 21st, 0.4 behind AlphaTauri. Robardo exiting pits. Joel Rascon is 12, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Iminson in Repsol is 6, 0.4 ahead of Tisanoski. Joel Rascon in Renault is P12, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Tisanoski in Kemsa is P6, 0.4 behind Kingshu 22. Kingshu 22 was 16.0 faster last lap. Rafis Bajan entering the pits is 3rd. Probo 96 entering the pits is P22. Skolbus Rusp entering the pits is P4. Iminson is P7. Iminson is now P6. Joel Rascon is 12, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Joel Rascon was 20.3 faster last lap. Tisanoski entering the pits is P10. Mini Echo exiting pits. Skolbus Rusp exiting pits. Probo 96 exiting pits. RC Sky 79 is P25. Rafis Bajan exiting pits. RC Sky 79 passed Probo 96 for P24. Iminson in Renault is P5. Joel Rascon is P11 driving a Red Bull, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Iminson in seat is P5, 0.4 behind Kingshu 22. Joel Rascon in Repsol on lap 43 is P11, 0.2 behind Sputnik NZ. Iminson is P5, 0.4 behind Kingshu 22. Rafael entering the pits is 18th. Dikugamer entering the pits is P19. Robitokaji entering the pits is P20. Wolf of Eco entering the pits is P21. Joel Rascon is 11th. Pablos Bastor in Eurocar is 6th, 0.5 behind Iminson. Dikugamer exiting pits. Joel Rascon is P11, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Tisanoski exiting pits. Robitokaji exiting pits. Wolf of Eco exiting pits. Rafael exiting pits. Pablos Bastor is 6th. Wasib in Renault is P8, 0.3 behind Rafis Bajan. Joel Rascon in Renault is 11, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Wausib is P8, 0.4 behind Rafis Bajan. Wausib was 30.2 faster last lap. Joel Rascon in seat on lap 44 is 11, 0.4 behind Sputnik NZ. Wausib is P8 driving a Red Bull, 0.4 behind Rafis Bajan. Joel Rascon is 11, 0.3 behind Sputnik NZ. Ice Cream Boy 92 in Bank Sababel is 12, 0.4 behind Joel Rascon. Joel Rascon in Eurocar is 11. The leader has just finished the race. Viet Exum finished P1. Dutmokablad. Antalagers. Rydovich. Joshis Caribbean. Nigate finished P2. Bartimus Gordon. Mini Echo is P18. Mini Echo. Spolbus Rusk finished P3. RC Sky 79. King Chu 22 finished P4. Iminson finished 5th. Krobo 96. Dikogana. Tisanoski. Papos Basterer finished P6. Robotokiji. Rafis Bajan finished P7. Wausib finished 8th. Wolfer Iko. Robardo finished 9th. Ayer Raphael. Sputnik NZ finished P10. Joel Rascon. Ice Cream Boy 92. Phobos 1701. Mervis.